I wish I could shake that crazy feeling of being watched. Listen to it.
Calling all cars. Unknown man walking around police station. Suspicious looking character. Probably one of the
Actually, Where Is Everybody was the second pilot episode ordered up by CBS. The first was a story about a man who dreamt of the Pearl Harbor attack before the event actually happened, only to be dismissed by the Army as a lunatic. Now, this single show, which aired as a special, was a hit, and just to make sure it wasn't a fluke, the network ordered up a second pilot. Where Is Everybody contained many plot devices and themes that would appear in subsequent episodes. For instance, the twist ending. After Holloman searches the town for life and cannot find any, this is how the story concludes.
I'm Air Force. Please, somebody help me. Help me. Please, somebody help me. Help me.
Somebody's looking at me. Please help me. Help me. Help me.
Clarkin.
Please, somebody help me. Somebody's looking at me. Somebody's watching me. Help me.
Get him out of there.
Help me.
How did you feel?
So much better. I'm sorry about toward the end.
What was it like, Ferris? Where did you think you were?
A place I don't want to go again, sir. The town. A town without people, without anybody. What was the matter with me, Doc? Just off my rocker, huh?
Just a kind of a nightmare that your mind manufactured for you. You see, we can feed the stomach with concentrates. We can supply microfilm for reading, recreation, even movies of a sort. We can pump oxygen in and waste material out. But there's one thing we can't simulate. That's a very basic need. Man's hunger for companionship.
In a moment, more twist endings, surprises, and favorite Twilight Zone themes. Rod Serling loved to surprise his audience. Like Where Is Everybody? Most of his stories had twist endings. Now, this episode also introduced another favorite Serling subject, space travel. But we'll get into that a little bit later. Many times, the twist ending was used as a device to make a moral point. In the episode titled Escape Clause, David Wayne makes a deal with the devil for immortality and sets out to commit a murder knowing that he cannot be executed for the crime. Now, Wayne is arrested and tried, but the verdict is not what he expected, and his gift of immortality turns into a nightmare.
You're the devil.
At your service. How
about it, Mr. Benninger? Why not? A partnership of the sort. You deed to me your so-called soul, and in exchange I give you immortality. And then indestructibility. Complete indestructibility. Nothing can hurt you.
Nothing can hurt me? And I live forever?
Certainly. Why not forever? Governments and institutions may disintegrate. People die. But Walter Bedecker goes on and on.
Ethel, you are a potato pancake. You're as tasteless as a potato pancake. Now leave me alone. Ethel, get out of my way. Get out of my way.
Please,
out of my way. Hello, police station. My name is Walter Bedecker. I live at 11 North 7th Street. That's right. Apartment 1214. Could you come over here right away, please? No trouble. I just killed my wife.
Have you anything to say before the court pronounces sentence upon you?
No, Your Honor, I have nothing to say.
Then the court sentences you to imprisonment in the state penitentiary without hope of parole for the rest of your natural life.
I knew we could do it. Congratulations.
In Time Enough at Last, Burgess Meredith stars as a nearsighted, henpecked bank teller who loves to read. Now, he inadvertently locks himself into a vault, and after a nuclear holocaust, becomes the last person on Earth. This is what happens when the story gets the Rod Serling twist ending treatment.
Collected works of Dickens. Collected works of George Bernard Shaw. Poems by Browning, Shelley, Keats. Great dramas of the world. And the best thing, the very best thing of all, is there's time now. There's all the time I need and all the time I want. Time. There's time enough at last. Was all the time I needed. It's not fair.
Serling had a wry sense of humor. In a story by writer Richard Matheson called A World of His Own, Keenan Wynn is a playwright who can actually create living characters with his dictating machine. Not only does his wife, played by Phyllis Kirk, not believe him, neither does Mr. Serling.
Would you like to know what I think is your childish nonsense? This.
Victoria!
Oh, Greg, I feel so strange. You don't mean that you were telling me the truth. You were right.
Victoria! Now, I told her, she just wouldn't listen to me.
Her name is Mrs. Victoria West. Why not leave well enough alone? Her name is Mary. She is in her husband's study, preparing him a drink.
We hope you enjoyed tonight's romantic story on the Twilight Zone. At the same time, we want you to realize that it was, of course, purely fictional. In real life, such ridiculous nonsense could never...
Ron! You shouldn't. I mean, you shouldn't say such things as nonsense and ridiculous.
Well, that's the way it goes.
Serling loved rockets, robots, and creatures of all shapes and sizes, and he always had a particular twinkle in his eye when he introduced these stories.
In a moment, Mr. Atherson and his Knotty Pine partner will be booked into one of the out-of-the-way bistros, that small, dark, intimate place known as This is a Mountain Cabin. But it is also a clearing in the shadows, known as They've Got to Find a Martian in a Diner. And in just a moment, you'll search with them because you've just landed. Mr. and Mrs. Arthur Castle, standing on the outskirts and about to enter. In a moment, we'll start collecting clues as to the whys, the whats, and the wheres. We will not end the nightmare. We'll only explain it. Because this is the Twilight Zone.
Here in the twilight. Here in the twilight. Here in the twilight. Twilight Zone. Here in the twilight. Here in the twilight. Here in the twilight. Twilight Zone.
Rod Serling frequently exposed his characters to various degrees of stress and loneliness. He mixed space travel, loneliness, and his fascination with robots in a story called, appropriately, The Lonely. Jack Warden stars as a convicted murderer who has been sentenced to spend 40 years alone on an isolated and lifeless asteroid. A benevolent supply ship captain gives him a robot to help pass the time.
We've only got a 15-minute layover this time, Corey.
Oh, look, no one's checking on your schedule way out here. We can play a couple of games of cards or something, huh?
I'm sorry, Corey. If we delay our time of departure any longer than 15 minutes, it just places us in a different orbital position. We'll never make it back to Earth. No, we'd have to stay here at least 14 days before this place would be in position again.
Oh, 14 days. Hey, look, I got some beer saved. We can play some cards. You know.
Yeah, I know. I wish we could, Corey, but like I said, we've only got 15 minutes.
Well, what's a few minutes? I mean, hey, look, we can play some chess. I built a chess set and everything.
Let's go in. Corey. Now, they don't know what it is that I've brought, so I'd appreciate your waiting until we get out of sight.
Have a good trip back. You are now the proud possessor of a robot built in the form of a woman. To all intent and purpose, this creature is a woman. Physiologically and psychologically, she is a human being with a set of emotions and a memory track. The ability to reason, to think, and to speak. She is beyond illness, and under normal circumstances should have a lifespan similar to that of a normal human being. Her name is Alicia.
My name's Alicia. What's your name?
Get out of here. Get out of here. I don't need a machine. Go on, get out of here.
My name's Alicia. What's your name?
Rod Serling was a driven man. He worked 18-hour days. In addition to being a principal writer and producer of the series, he continued other projects as well. That included screenplays, newspaper articles, and frequent lecture tours. Serling seemed relaxed on camera while narrating Twilight Zone. Friends who knew him said he was an insomniac who was smoking up to 4 packs of cigarettes daily, and he would die of lung cancer in 1975. It must have been this tremendous pressure that caused him to use stress as a recurring theme. In Walking Distance, Gid Young stars as a harried advertising agency executive who makes an unusual trip to his hometown to relax.
You're Martin Sloan?
Yes, sir. But I didn't mean nothing honest. Lots of kids carved their name here. No kidding. I'm not the first.
You are Martin Sloan. Of course you are. That's the way I looked.
What do you want, young man?
Mom, don't you know me? I'm Martin.
You lunatic or something.
You mustn't be frightened. I grew up here, Mom. Don't you know your own son? Martin, I only wanted to tell you that this is a wonderful time of life for you. Don't let any of it go by without enjoying it. And you know, Pop?
Yes, I know. I know who you are. Is it so bad where you're from?
I thought so, Pop. I've been living in a dead run, and I was tired. And one day I knew I had to come back here.
You've been looking behind you, Martin. Try looking ahead.
Maybe.
Goodbye, son.
Goodbye, Pop.
James Daly also starred as an advertising executive under a lot of pressure, both from his work and his high-powered wife. Now, in order to escape, Daly would dream of an ideal small 19th century town called Willoughby.
Push and drive. It's push, push, push all the way, all the time. Right on down the line. That's enough.
Willoughby. This place.
Where is Willoughby?
Willoughby, sir? That's Willoughby right outside. Willoughby. July. Summer. It's 1888. Really a lovely little village. You ought to try it sometime. Peaceful. Restful. Where a man can slow down to a walk and live his life full measure. You all right, Mr. Williams?
Yeah. Sure, I'm all right.
Push, Williams. Push, Williams. Push, Williams.
Willoughby?
Yes, sir.
Hi, Mr. Williams.
Hi, boy.
Just jumped off the train, did he?
Shouted something about Willoughby, then ran out to the platform, and that was the last I saw him. Doctor says he must have died instantly.
And when he finally got off the train, his troubles were over. Really over. The TV Western was hot. Serling used the Western theme a number of times in Twilight Zone. And in an odd mixture of Old West and science fiction, Serling has an outlaw saved from the hangman's noose by this futuristic machine.
I can tell you this, Caswell. You're an evil person. You're a disease. And when we hang you, it's a service. All right. Get on with the job.
You're going to be all right. I'll explain to you what's happened.
Where am I?
You're a long way from home, old friend. A very long way.
Where?
You're in New York City. 80 years from the last moment of your recollection.
Ow.
By this. This is a time machine. What's happened to you involves principles which you wouldn't understand. For the moment, I don't know what your past was, but you've got a most distinguished future.
In his definitive statement on the television Western, Rod Serling wrote a story starring Larry Blyden as a TV cowboy star who comes face to face with the outlaws he's been knocking off left and right.
I think I hear him coming now.
Well, it's about time. You're an hour and 15 minutes late, Rand. Don't start that with me. You know how emotional scenes upset me before we shoot. Now, don't get up, Rand. We'll try to knock this off.
All right, let's get with it. Scene 93, take one. And Rance, baby. Easy on the mirror. Action.
Why, you stupid clod, this is whiskey. This is real whiskey. Marshal, Jess is gunning for you. He's coming right now.
Well, you some menhead, he already came in scene 73.
I'm gonna call my agent. And this time he better be in.
They call me Jesse James. The real Jesse James, not that side of pork that's been play acting me.
Cut? Cut? Should we cut?
From the Old West to the dark side of the Twilight Zone in a moment. The Cold War confrontation between the U.S. and the Soviet Union had a number of unusual side effects on American society. The new macabre status symbol became the fallout shelter. Now, these shelters sprouted up as a natural outgrowth of the paranoia of the times. The concept of nuclear holocaust had already found its way into a number of Serling stories. In early 1961, he wrote The Shelter. Now, it's an unusual tale because it was not so much a Twilight Zone fantasy, but rather a statement of the times.
Father, keep those kids in the kitchen! Bill! Bill Stockton! You got a bunch of your neighbors outside who want to stay alive. Now you can open that door and talk to us and figure out with us how many can come in there. Or you can just keep on doing what you're doing and we'll bust our way in there.
Bill! Bill, can you hear me? This is Jerry. I mean business out here.
Business in here, I've already told you, Jerry. You're wasting your time. You're wasting precious time that can be used for something else, like figuring out how you can survive.
Why don't we get some kind of battering ram? You know, we could go over to Bennett Avenue. Phil Klein has some heavy pipe in his basement. I've seen it. No. That would get him into that, too. And who cares about saving him? No. If we do that, we'll let all those people know that we have a shelter on our street. We'd have a whole mob to contend with, a whole bunch of strangers.
Sure, what right have they got to come over here? This isn't their street. This isn't their shelter.
Oh, this is our shelter. And on the next street, that's another country. Patronize home industry. You fools, you're insane, all of you.
Maybe you don't want to live, Jerry. Maybe you don't care.
Believe me, I care. I want to see the morning sun come up, too. But you're acting like a mob, and a mob doesn't have any brains. You're proving it by what you're doing.
I say, let's get that battering ram and we'll tell Klein to keep his mouth shut as to why we want it.
Now, wait a minute. I agree with Jerry. We should stop and think a minute.
Nobody cares what you think, you or your kind. I thought I made it clear upstairs.
Yes, but I think that
I think the first order of business is to get you out of here.
The paranoia that triggered Red Scares, fallout shelters, and the hatred of anything that was determined as un-American was explored in a number of Twilight Zone episodes. Perhaps the most famous starred Claude Akins. In this story, hysteria grips a small town as residents begin to believe that a local power failure is a result of aliens from another planet. Now, it's mob behavior at its worst. And of course, it has the patented Serling twist ending.
I swear I just don't understand. What's happening?
Well, maybe you better tell us. There's nothing working on this street. Nothing. No lights, no power, no radio. Nothing except one car. Yours.
How do you figure it started, Les?
Yeah, how do you explain that?
Yeah, what's the idea, Les?
Wait a minute now. Just keep your distance, all of you. Okay, so I've got a car that starts by itself. Well, it's a freak thing, I admit it, but what's it make me, a criminal or something? I don't know why it starts, it just does. What's this all about, Steve?
We're on a monster kick, Les. Seems the general impression now holds that maybe there's a family that isn't what we think they are.
Pete Van Horn. Pete Van Horn. Well, he was just going over to the next block to see if the power was on.
Charlie, you killed him. He's dead.
I didn't know who he was. I most certainly didn't know who he was. Well, he came out of the darkness. How was I supposed to know who he was?
Charlie, the lights just went on in your house. Why did the lights go on in your house?
What about it, Charlie? How come you're the only one with lights now? That's what I'd like to know.
Their world is full of Maple Streets. And we'll go from one to the other and let them destroy themselves. One to the other. One to the other.
A year later, Serling used the same theme in an episode that takes place in a small roadside diner. Several customers attempt to discover which one of them is really a spaceman in disguise.
Look, something did land in Tracy's pond. Left a trail of broken branches before it hit. We found tracks leading away from it.
To where?
To here.
You mean something landed in Tracy's pond and then came in here? That's crazy. Nothing's come in here since 11 this morning. Nothing. Except
me and my passengers. Me and 6 people. That means that one person here...
If it's just one person who doesn't belong here, you eliminate the couple.
I could have sworn you had a mole on your chin.
I can tell you what's going to happen. We're all going to get so panicky that everyone and his brother will start picking up invisible clues from everybody else. This is nonsense.
Well, of course it's nonsense. If a husband and wife suddenly start wondering whether the husband is really the husband and the wife is really...
Now, wait a minute. If somebody was to ask me...
Well, no one did ask you, no one will.
Yeah. What's that? It's okay? All right, thanks. The bridge is okay.
Well, about time.
Well, I counted 7.
That's right, 7.
Didn't you go out on that bus?
I did indeed. Oh, yes, I went out on that bus. And you know something? That bridge wasn't safe. It collapsed.
You're not even wet.
That's an illusion. Just a parlor trick.
What are you, some kind of magician?
Who, me? Oh, hardly. We're beginning to colonize. My friends will be arriving very shortly.
Oh, a colony is coming. But it's from Venus. And if you're still alive, I think you'll see how we differ.
Devotees of Twilight Zone remember William Shatner's performance as a newly recovered mental patient making a final flight into the Twilight Zone.
There's a man out there.
What?
Look, he's crawling on... Sorry. Must have been the...
What is it? Oh, it's nothing, Mr. Wilson. Can I get you anything?
A glass of water. He's out there now. He jumps away whenever anyone might see him. Except me. Honey, he's there. I realize what this sounds like. Do I look insane?
No, darling, no.
I know I had a mental breakdown. I know I had it in an airplane. I know it looks to you as if the same thing's happening again, but it isn't. I'm sure it isn't. Glass of water, please. Hurry.
darling.
I know. But I'm the only one who does know. Right now.
Rod Serling wrote often of conformity. In a moment, scenes from a classic Twilight Zone episode. In a story that was broadcast in 1961, Serling made his first statement about conformity. Filmed as a shadowy nightmare, this story concerns a group of doctors trying to reconstruct a woman's face so she can live a normal life.
Now, we have done all we could do. If we've been successful, well and good, there are no problems. But if, on the other hand, this final treatment has not achieved the desired result, please remember, Miss Tyler, that you can still live a long and fruitful life among people of your own kind.
Well, as soon as we discover the results, we'll either release you or...
Doctor,
Yes.
if I'm still terribly ugly, well, is there any other alternative? Could I please be put away?
Well, under certain circumstances, Miss Tyler, the state does provide for the extermination of undesirables. However, there are many factors to be considered in the decision. Under the present circumstances, I doubt very much whether we would be permitted to do anything but transfer you to a communal group of people with your disability. No change. No change at all.
Turn on the light. Needle, please.
We know now that there must be a single purpose, a single norm, a single approach, a single entity of people, a single virtue, a single morality, a single frame of reference, a single philosophy of government. We must cut off all that is different, like a cancerous growth. It is essential in this society that we not only have a norm, but that we conform to that norm.
A note on Rod Serling's other talents when we return. A boxer, an army paratrooper, a writer. As a boxer, Rod Serling won all of his amateur fights except the last one, which broke his nose. A tough guy, he was awarded the Purple Heart for his actions in World War II. And on his 40th birthday, he made a parachute drop. He drove himself unmercifully and had tremendous faith in his abilities. This faith was the subject of a Twilight Zone story starring Ivan Dixon. In it, a young boy's belief in miracles proves invaluable to an aging boxer.
Tired old man. Tired old man trying to catch a bus. And the bus is already gone.
I'm gonna make a wish. I'm gonna make a big, tall wish. And you ain't gonna get hurt none either. You hear, Bowling? You've been hurt enough already. And you're my friend, Bowling.
Knees are wobbly. He's hurt. Wooly Jackson is definitely hurt. Consiglio moves it on.
Bowling, bowling, bowling.
veteran, Serling used the GI Bill to attend Antioch College. All during his college career, Serling wrote. His particular form of style did not develop immediately. He cranked out script after script and received nothing but rejections. But when he graduated from Antioch in 1950, he had sold material to both radio and television. His 1955 teleplay Patterns, about a young man's ambitious rise up the business ladder, won him his first Emmy. In 1956, Playhouse 90 produced Requiem for a Heavyweight, which won him not only an Emmy, but the prestigious Peabody Award, the first time one had ever been given to a television creative writer. And just for the record, Twilight Zone won 3 Emmys. In all, he wrote 89 Twilight Zone scripts out of the 152 episodes produced. The program never made it to the top 10 or even the top 25, but the guest stars would make up a who's who of the entertainment world. Peter Falk, Elizabeth Montgomery, Robert Redford, Cliff Robertson, William Shatner, Cloris Leachman, Jack Klugman, Charles Bronson, Telly Savalas, and hundreds of others. Rod Serling was once asked if he thought his writing had helped society. He answered, probably not. He went on to say that good writing, like wine, must stand the test of time, and if, like a good wine, it had longevity, and 100 years hence, you can look at a paragraph and say, by God, there's a truth, then I think the author earns the honor of being called writer. And Serling was a writer. Twilight Zone remains a popular syndicated program. A whole new generation is discovering these programs for the very first time. They're discovering that these programs are just as real, just as important, and just as entertaining as they were back in the late 50s. The shows are timeless. They make us question what is real and what is not. For nothing is ever quite the same or as real after it's entered the Twilight Zone. I'm Bob Wilkins. Have a nice evening.